We are back once again for another text effect tutorial. For this one, we're going to create a neon glow effect. Go to File, New, set it to 1920 by 1080, keep it on 300 resolution, copy the rest of the settings, and then go ahead and press Create. We're going to get ourselves a background. This is optional, you don't have to, but neon does look a lot better when there's a background. So I'm using these black bricks right here, which you can download. There'll be a link in the description. And once you've downloaded it, you just left click and then drag this into Photoshop. Double left click to apply it. We also need to make this a little bit more darker. So if you get yourself a new layer, in that layer, you want to get yourself the bucket tool, go to the colors and get yourself a black color. Go ahead and press OK. Left click on the screen to fill it in and then set the effect to a soft light and then set the opacity to 62%. This makes it a little bit more darker. You also want to right click on the background, go to blending options, and in here you want to get yourself a inner shadow. In the inner shadow, make sure that the mode is on multiply, have it on a black color, have the opacity to 100%, and then change the size of it to 188. You can then go ahead and press OK, and you're pretty much done with the background. Now that we've got ourselves the background, we're going to click on the top layer, and you want to get yourself the text tool. You want to change the color and swap this to a pure white color this time. Press OK, and then you just want to left click on the screen and drag this out. You want to type in your text. The font that I'm using is a Neon Club Music. There'll be a link in the description if you want the same one. You could download it, it's free, and I've set it to 100 for the size. You can then drag the corners back in, go to the first tool, go ahead and press Ctrl and A to select it all, and then center your text, making sure you're selecting the first tool. Press Ctrl and D, and we're going to start on the very first one. So you want to right click on the text layer, go to blending options. We're going to start on the very first one, which is the inner glow. In here, you want to set this to a hard light, put the opacity to 40%, and then put the size to 12. You want to change the color and set it to 7200FF. Press OK. You are pretty much done with this one. Get yourself a outer glow, click in here, and we're going to set this one to a linear dodge add for the effect. Change the opacity to 8%, change the element size down here to 70. We also want to click on the color and set this to 9600FF. Press OK. You want to go down to the bottom where you see the contour and you just want to left click onto the picture. You want to click in the middle right about here to create yourself a point. With that point, you want to set the input to 48 and then you want to set the output to 62. This just gives it a nice curve and makes the neon a little bit more brighter. Go ahead and press OK. We're going to press OK. You want to make sure you're selecting the text layer and go ahead and press Ctrl and J to get yourself a duplicate. With that duplicate, you want to move this underneath your main layer. You can minimize this one and minimize this one as well. On the second text, you want to right click on it, go to blending options. So the first thing that we're going to change on this one, get yourself a stroke. This is to make the edges soft again because sometimes they can look a little bit pixelated and this just helps. So you want to set the size to 1 pixel, make sure it's on the inside and change the color to a pure black. You can leave the mode on normal. Now for this one, you don't really need the inner glow, so you just want to untick this one because it sits underneath the main layer, but we do need to go onto the outer glow and adjust the settings on this one. Now for the outer glow on this one, you want to set the size to 250, which is the maximum that you can have. But in this one, you want to go back into the contour, click on the picture, and for this one, you want to get yourself one down here. If you just left click, set the input to 11, change the output to 28, go on to the middle one, and for this one, set this to 34, set the output to 65, and then finally for the very last one, you want to click right at the top here, and for this one, you want to set the input to 76, output to 94, and this just gives it a nice curve. Go ahead and press OK, and you can pretty much press OK on this one as well because we are done with that one. And then finally, for the very last touch that you can do to make it a little bit more better is you can get yourself the brush tool right here, get yourself a new layer, put this one underneath the text layers. you want to increase the size to something like 392. Once you've done that, you want to swap on over to the other color, and the color that you're going to be using is 7200FF. Press OK, and you just want to simply fill this in underneath, giving it that extra glow. And then finally, set the effect to a soft light right here. And there we go, you are pretty much done. This is your neon text effect.